Almost every single warm-up that I see y'all do before games lasts maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You get some high knees in, maybe some butt kicks and some arm circles. It does nothing. Let me explain. Not everyone's gonna have an entire weight room like this, but you don't need one. So forget the glove, forget the bat, and let's warm up properly. My name's Matt Ross, and this is ATS Performance. So if you want more content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. First, we need to simplify what we're actually trying to accomplish. So let's start from the ground up and actually get stretches in before we go into any sort of dynamic warm up. There are very few facts in all of baseball, but here's what we know. We know that we're gonna have to run, lunge, rotate, and do something powerful. So our entire warm-up needs to lead to that goal. So next, just go into the world's greatest stretch. Just lunge out, put your elbow to the ground as far as you can, then rotate up, and then stretch your hamstring. Now you can do this all in one place if you want, but if you're doing this as a team, take one lunge after the other as you go out into the field. Now it might look a little funny, but it's a really good way to open up your hips. We're gonna go into a duck walk. Squat down as far as you can and literally just waddle like a duck. And if you wanna give yourself the best chance to actually succeed in this game, you can't be afraid to look funny. So now that we're starting to get into our hips a little bit more, let's also focus a little bit on rotation. Lay down on the ground, your feet and legs are gonna be at a 90-degree angle, and you're just gonna go back and forth almost like a windshield wiper. This is getting our spine loosened up and all of the muscles that control our core ready to rotate, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter. To keep working on getting our hips loosened up too, we're gonna go into hip hurdles. Now you wanna imagine that there's a T, hurdle, whatever you want, basically right here by your side. Face forward as long as you can, but bring your leg up and over that T as you go forward. You can do this like 5, 10 yards, however long you need to, but then once you reach your goal, take it on the way back. We're going up in front, then out. We're trying to open up our hips as much as possible. That way when we get on the mound or in the box, we can actually move properly without the chance of injury. Now remember, this is still a really simple warm-up. Everyone's gonna have their own needs. Maybe your hamstrings are really tight and you need to focus on that, where I might need to focus on loosening up my arm. But for this specific warm-up, we're gonna continue into warming up our rotation and our spine. You can use a PVC pipe, you can use your bat, but almost every single field will have something that you can use for this. You just need to place it on your back like you're about to squat. Keep your feet facing forward and planted in the ground, and just twist side to side. Then once you feel good, take it to the end, reach out in front of you. This will add a lot of weight outside, so not only is it gonna take you around farther, it's also gonna be a little bit harder to rotate. Same exact thing, we're trying to rotate as far as we can, but not as fast as we can. It's still a warm-up, and we're still trying to loosen up all the right muscles. It's another good one, especially for hitters, because then you can take this extremely long PVC pipe and swing it just like a bat. Now, if you want to actually work on hip and shoulder separation, you can even let go of this. We're gonna do the same thing with our arms going back and forth, but instead of using our core to make it go back and forth, we're gonna implement our legs actually making us turn the same way you would on the mound. So if I'm just twisting side to side, I'm now gonna make my hips fire my upper body. This is an incredible way to feel what it's like to actually drive your hips through and keeping your shoulders back without even having to touch a baseball. Now this next one is gonna be really hard if you have a bat, so hopefully you have a PVC pipe or even a shoulder tube, but we're gonna start moving into our upper body and loosening up our shoulders. You can go as wide as you need to, but the most important part is keeping your hands fully on the stick. You're just gonna keep going back and forth to where you feel your chest really open up on the way back, and then your scaps and shoulders bring it back forward. Now I'm gonna need to use the weight room for this, but almost every single field has some pole that you'll be able to hang from, or at least loosen up your lats and shoulders from. I'm just using a pull-up bar. All we do is literally hang from it. You're trying to feel your lats and shoulders drop as far as they can. If you swing back and forth, that's fine, but if you feel even more advanced, you just go one-handed, and now you get to swing side to side. Plus it works on your grip strength too. Now, I don't care what kind of excuses you come up with this one. I know it's at your field. You're either gonna use 2 buckets, 2 chairs, 2 benches, literally 2 of anything the same height. Now that I've got 2 chairs, place them side by side, and you're gonna go into a deep push-up ISO. This is easily my favorite stretch out of all of them because it really opens up your shoulder and your pec. Now, if you're new to this, it might feel really uncomfortable. That's perfectly fine. If you need to go to your knees, you can. But the entire goal is to set up like a push-up, and we're gonna go as far down as we can while keeping our elbows tucked. Now this might look like a pretty extreme position, but when you get into it, it actually feels really, really good. Plus, if you think about it, it's the exact same position that we get into when we throw, when we go this way. So if our chest and shoulders are that flexible, the better position you can get into when you throw, which ideally means the stronger your shoulder will be, which means the harder you'll throw. Now at this point, your body should feel pretty stretched out and limber, which means we can finally start the dynamic portion and know it's not gonna be just high knees and butt kicks. So now it's time to focus on getting ready to use power instead of just getting flexible. So the first one that we're gonna start off with is pogos. Now the entire idea is to just use our feet and calves to make the entire move happen. Put your hands on your hips, try to keep your legs as straight as possible, and just jump for about 5 to 10 yards as fast and as quick as you can off the ground. The faster and stronger you can be off the ground, the quicker you're gonna run. So now we move into broad jumps, thinking about the same idea. We're trying to jump and be as powerful as possible jumping forward. Using that same idea, we're gonna go a little bit faster now with high knee power skips. It's the same thing as like A skips or just regular skips that you did in preschool. But now we're trying to jump up as high as we can. Now at this point, you might be starting to breathe a little bit harder, your heart rate's elevated, so we're gonna continue that for just a little bit longer. We still need to make sure we're rotating well, but now we get to rotate fast. So we're gonna do high knee karaoke for about 10-15 yards, making sure we can get our leg up and over as we go through. I'm out of breath. Now there's just a couple more things to get our body ready to run as fast as we can. So now we go into A skips. A lot of people do A skips to where they're just kind of going through the motion, right? It's an actual drill that you can do to work on your running form as well as your speed. So actually lock in and do it correctly. We want to make sure our leg and arms are coming up in the right motion, but same thing as the pogos. We want to stay really fast and quick off the ground. Now your legs should feel perfectly conditioned and ready to go to run the bases. So if you still have time, take probably, 3 to 5 steel starts, just working on your actual stance, being able to get a quick step going over. Now I'm not gonna do it because I'm actually kind of out of shape, but hopefully you should do it too. Now when we talk about like an actual med ball or even throwing plyo routine, this is when we have to get really personal. But if you want me to go through my med ball and my plyo routine, let me know down in the comments. But by this point in your warm up, you should feel perfect. It'll take maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And if you want even extra work, we'll add in a mobility series next week. That way you can get to the field early and really get limber and really get ready to throw. By now y'all should know that I just hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. So we're doing a massive giveaway on YouTube. We're gonna select multiple winners to win sunglasses, merch, arm care bands, everything. All you have to do is be subscribed. So when I select the winner, the only thing I'm gonna do is go to my subscribers list. There you go. So if you want to enter, go ahead and subscribe right now, and I'll see y'all in the next video.